Hey guys, it's Ashley, and today I have some books that I'm going to haul, so let's just get started. I told myself I was going to start filming more hauls, that way I didn't have so many books to film for each haul, and my hauls weren't like 20 minutes long anymore. I have 12 books to show you today, which is a lot considering my last haul was not more than like 2 months ago, So the first book that I got was Never Fade by Alex Bracken. This is the second book in the Darkest Minds series. I have the first book and I read it and I really liked it, but I never ended up buying this book, nor picking it up, nor reading it, and I saw it in Barnes & Noble one day and was like, why not? So I went for it. My first book is also paperback, so that's why I got this paperback, and can I just say that these are so heavy for paperback books. For some reason, the books themselves are just so heavy. Oh my goodness. For those of you who don't know what the series is about, it's basically this disease plague that's wiped out 98% of America's children, or the world's children, and the 2% that lived have developed superpowers, and they're being herded into these concentration camps and being tested on because the government thinks that they're bad. It's a really good dystopian series, and I haven't finished it, so I'm really looking forward to it. The next book that I have to show you is Labyrinth Lust by Zoraida Cordova. I put this in my TBR, and I don't think that I'm gonna get around to it this month. I don't know a whole lot about this book. All I know is that there's this girl named Alex, and she is a bruja or a bruja. I'm assuming if it's Spanish, the J is an H sound. It means she's like this witch, and I know that she does something where she either casts a spell or she gets involved in this thing where her whole entire family disappears, and she has to figure out what happened and how to get them back. It sounds really interesting, and it is an Own Voices book, so I am very interested in getting into this. The next book that I have is one that everybody and their mother is reading, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I'm not putting it off any longer. I'm just gonna read this book next month. It's gonna be good. I'm gonna love it. I know, because everybody's telling me that I'm gonna love it. I don't want to put it off any longer, especially because the third book is coming out in May, and so it'll give me some time to kind of like branch out between that, I guess. Or I could very well just fall into a book hangover and not read anything until that book comes out. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm very much looking forward to this book and what's gonna happen in it. And yes, there's not much more I can say about this, you guys. The next book that I have to show you is Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland. Oh my god, I can't read her last name. Tamara Ireland Stone. This is a diverse book about, invisible disabilities, mental illnesses. So in this book, we follow this girl named Sam, who is part of the popular clique at her school, but inside she's suffering from purely obsessional OCD, which means that she's second-guessing herself at every turn, and everything has to be exactly right, or she'll just be constantly consumed by these dark thoughts. She meets this girl named Caroline, and Caroline introduces her to this poetry slam corner thing in her school, and she realizes that there's a part of herself that she's never discovered before, and she starts finding herself through this poetry. And I'm really excited to get into this because I've seen this book on Emma Books' channel, and I haven't read a book yet about some kind of invisible mental illness disability, so I'm really interested in getting into this soon. The fourth book that I have today is Roseblood by A.G. Howard. This was the Owl Crate's January book of the month, and if you want to know any more about that, I'll leave the link to my January Owl Crate unboxing down below, so you can go check that out to see what this book is about and what else I got in the box, and I really, really love that box. Let me just put that out there right now. I really did. I'll give just like a really short premise, I guess. It's a Phantom of the Opera retelling about this girl named Rune who is an opera singer, but she always suffers from this sickness after she sings. So she gets shipped off to this boarding school in France that has ties to the Phantom of the Opera, and she meets this guy named Thorn, and weird stuff is going on, and it all spirals out of control from there. The next book that I have is one that I mentioned in my wrap-up from January, and that is Overruled by Brittany Joy. And if you want to know more of my thoughts about it, I will leave the link to that wrap-up and TBR down below. The author, Brittany Joy, sent this to me for review, and I was very, very happy that she did because I absolutely loved this book. It is filled with magic and fantasy and kingdoms and queens and princesses and horses and everything that just makes this world amazing. We followed this girl, Nova, who originally was from the Kingdom of Sterling, but her father took her away at a very young age, and now they've come back so that they could rescue her younger cousin whose family had just been killed. And we also follow Princess Jade, who is the heir to the throne of the Kingdom Sterling, but her mother, the queen, is trying to push her down at every step, and she's trying to just discover her magic and come to terms with herself and take down the queen so that she can become the rightful heir, but the queen just doesn't want that to happen. She wants her magic to stay where it is. And so it's this constant struggle between the two girls, and they come together, and there's also this guy named Kale, who I'm pretty sure you pronounce it Chael, but I'm not 100% sure. Even after I asked Brittany Joy how to pronounce it, I'm still gonna say Kale just because of bad habits. He intercepts the two girls and intertwines their stories together, and it's just a crazy ride, and it was addicting, and I had to get through it as soon as I started it, and it was a really fast read, and I really enjoyed it. So the next few books I got from Book Outlet, all in one purchase. I'm crazy, don't ask. The first three books that I have to show you are the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. Everybody on BookTube always talks about this series, always raves about this series as one of the high fantasy series that everybody needs to read, and I have just now gotten around to buying them because they were only $14.99 for the whole 3 books on Book Outlet, and so I went for it. The box set also came with this really awesome map that I had not expected. You can see that. I'm assuming it's just like the kingdom and the map of the world that's inside of the Mistborn trilogy, but it's really cool, and I may just hang it on my wall. I know pretty much nothing about these books other than that they're a high fantasy. I feel like it has to do something with, I think that she's like the street rat who is living on the streets, and then she has to like battle some big guy and cover the throne or something. I don't know for sure, but I like going into books blind, and so that is what I'm going to do for these ones. So the 9th book I have, I think, is Truthwitch by Susan Dennard. This book was really cheap on Book Outlet, and I've always wanted to read it, and so I just grabbed it at the chance that I had. I honestly don't know anything about this book. The cover is really pretty. I know that. The only thing that I really do know about this book is that I think she's a truth witch, so she can either tell when you're lying or she can make you tell the truth. It's one of those two. They kind of work the same way, I guess. I've just heard really good things about this book and the series, and the second one just came out, and so I'm really excited to jump into it and to just know what this book is about in general. So the next book that I have to show you is Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Roche, I think. I've seen this book circling around BookTube for a pretty long time now. I know that the third one just came out, and I don't know if it's the last book in the series or if it's just the continuing series from there, but I've seen this for a while and I've wanted to get it. As far as I know, it's about this Kingdom Winter who had been sieged and pillaged and destroyed in this battle, and only 8 people survived. Mira was one of them. She was orphaned during the defeat of Winter. She's hopelessly in love with her best friend named Mather. Scouts end up discovering the location of this ancient locket that can apparently bring Winter's restoration back, and so Mira decides to go after it and is thrust into this world of politics and possibilities and everything like that, and it sounds really freaking good. And finally, the last book that I have to show you guys is Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. I got this book primarily because I just finished The Sun Is Also a Star, and it was so freaking good, you guys. So I went for it. The only thing that I really know about this book is that it's about this girl who is suffering from this kind of anaphylactic allergy, or just this allergy where she's allergic to almost everything, I guess, and so she lives in her house, and she meets this boy who moves in next door, and she's most certainly going to fall in love with him, and it's most certainly going to be a disaster, and I've just heard a lot about this book. Primarily, I've heard good things, and because I loved Nicola Yoon's last book, her most recent book, I'm really excited to pick this up soon. And these are all of the books that I am hauling today. I'm gonna put them down, or at least lower them. Oh god. So those are all of the books that I'm hauling today. If any of you have read any of these books or have just gotten them yourself, I'd love to know. Please let me know what you thought. I'm really excited to jump into a lot of these. These are, honestly, I've never hauled a more perfect batch of books because every single one of these I want to read for a different reason and I want to read immediately, so it's going to be hard for me to pick just one. If you want to follow me on any of my social medias, keep up with me, say hi maybe. I am AdashaVash12 on Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and now I have a Snapchat, so if you guys want to follow me on there, you can go ahead and add me. I will probably post a lot if I remember, hopefully. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye!